Okay, have I been a bad boy because it's been 5 days since I finished reading this book and I'm finally doing the video? This is, what is this? Number nine? This is number nine. We are 9% of the way through the 100 book challenge. You know what that is. I keep saying it ever, just in case you're just joining us. I have to read 100 books, paper physical books that I already own before I am allowed by myself to buy another one. This is my self-imposed thing that I'm doing. So in my reading category, I always have a number of books going at any given time, including what is a sort of comic book collection or graphic novel or otherwise illustrated book. And what I have finished reading 8 days ago is this illustrated book collection of, we're working on the glare. Oh man, right? The science fiction spaceship art of Chris Foss. This is Hardware, the definitive works of Chris Foss from Titan Press. Gorgeous, beautiful, fantastic book. Let's dive into some of this. We'll dive into my thoughts now and some of these images. Wow. Though the spectacular science fiction art of the legendary Chris Foss tended to adorn books published in the UK far more than they did here in the States, I was exposed to his simultaneously rigid and organic spacecraft as a young SF fan. From the age of 9, 10, I was pulled into Chris Foss's vision of the future of massive starships tethered to asteroids, enigmatic megastructures rising from the alien landscapes of distant worlds, and often gargantuan robots chasing after fleeing aircraft or locked in mortal combat. Though I'm loath to call them copycats, the other artists that Chris Foss surely inspired, like Colin Hay, Peter Elson, and maybe to a lesser degree Angus McKee, all combined to visualize a future full of starships. This remains the future I want to live in. Though a well-meaning and fictional ton of science fiction stories and novels assume that we'd surely be a star-faring species by the far-flung future of 2025, here we are, not that. So then back to the artwork I go, and not with sadness, but with that same childlike sense of wonder. I read the introductory material to the book Hardware, the definitive SF works of Chris Foss, rather quickly, then spent the next 16 days staring, soaking up the dozens of literally awe-inspiring works of art that make up the bulk of the book. I didn't want to just flip through. Needed to spend time with each piece, to open my imagination to a single image the way I used to as a kid, a headspace I can still access now. I wanted to serve on those ships, land on those worlds, and walk as those robots. What makes art great isn't technical skill, though Chris Foss exudes that in spades, but what a work of art means to the person who experiences it, what it means in that moment, in our memories, and how meaning morphs and evolves over subsequent viewings, maybe separated by decades. This is a book to bathe in, a universe to lose yourself in, and an artist as significant as any of his generation. And that has been the Hardware, the definitive works of Chris Foss, keeping this in my collection to just look through and love for the rest of my life. So what's next? What's the next illustrated book, comic book collection, or graphic novel? Well, you know we're working through this series. You saw the video for Druna number 2. Calm down, everybody, with the cover art. This is all you're going to see. You're not going to see the inside of this. Look at all my glare. It's like a mirror. Oh, I can see myself. The question is, how much more black could it be? And the answer is none. None more black.